everyone. Welcome to the 5th episode of RiskRadar, where we discuss a topic our community has highly focused on the previous month. Boris, as you know, the buzz around AI has been really going on, AI and machine learning essentially, and we have been kind of coming back to it once again, especially with our recent interview with Stephanie Lapierre. So let's dive into this topic once again and see what our audience should be paying attention to, especially from a supply chain angle of this aspect of AI.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had some good number of interviews in August. So I encourage people to look at our podcast at Risk Management Show, which is available on the major platforms. And yeah, this exactly interview with Stephanie Lapierre about the AI and ML in the supply chain is also very important, because there are a lot of companies operating in the kind of supply or third-party risk management space, and some of them doing a traditional risk management approach, some of them doing AI and ML stuff like Stephanie's company. So yeah, let's discuss this topic.
Thank you. So as you mentioned, there are of course still companies that do more of a traditional supply data management approach as well. But as far as I know, this kind of have some limitations, especially on our current, global economics. So could you maybe elaborate a little bit on these shortcomings traditional supply data management have, and why there is a bit more need for more agile and adaptive system on this?
Yeah, of course, because traditional supplier data management approaches often rely on manual process, like legacy systems. They just collect data and involve a lot of input from actual companies. But they are so deficiencies mostly is a lack of real-time data updates, inefficiency in handling a large volume of data, and difficulties in adapting to changing supplier landscape. So, for example, if we see a lot of new companies coming, it's not really that easy to update this. So, of course, inadequate predictive capabilities for risk assessment is also very kind of vivid for this approach. And we see increasing need for a more agile and adaptive systems that will have to kind of improve the supply chains, because we saw in the COVID crisis, and now we have a lot of sanction laws for specific companies. It's not easy to kind of manage the systems via the traditional approach.
Yeah, thank you. So since there is, a need for more agility and more adaptiveness, usually what we notice in many industries as well is like there's a more approach to implement artificial intelligence and machine learning. And I think this is also one of the things that can also transform supplier data management. So how do these technologies enhance data accuracy, you think, and how does it, enhance the predictive capabilities? What other benefits it has as far as, these technologies go for the supply chain data management?
Yeah, some of the main kind of examples of how these technologies perform better is in how they enhance data accuracy is by identifying data anomalies and inconsistencies, because it's if you train the system via these modules, this is very useful. And of course, predicting supplier performance and potential risk is also achieved through these technologies. Automating data validations and correction, because normally it takes a lot of time to validate data, and using these techniques is kind of a very efficient way. And of course, unstructured data sources, for example, emails, different PDF documents, are much easier to handle via this approach.
Thank you. And on top of course, data management and accuracy and predictability, of course, another very important part of processing data is actually data security and confidentiality, of course. So, and this is also like a paramount in supplier relationships. So how does AI and machine learning also like do anything for data protection while doing also, you know, anything to enhance the data accuracy, for example? How does it go? Is there a balance?
Yeah, of course, reinforcing data protection and the quality is very important. And they do it mostly by, this is not from my experience, but based on interviews with other people, specifically with Stephanie. And so detecting unusual data access patterns, like we call it anomalies, that may indicate security breaches, implementing encryption and access controls. Of course, this was used in the previous system, but I think this AI ML system allow to more control for this encryption data. So ensuring data accuracy through automated validation, as I think I mentioned, because automated validation means a lot of more efficient workflow, and identifying and flagging potential data privacy violations via this automated flow.
So with that being said, now I'm hearing that there are, of course, quite some benefits, but are there any also real world examples of businesses that you can maybe share related to using AI and machine learning in, for example, in things like, you know, risk assessment or supplier performance prediction or fraud detection and so on?
Yeah, I think based on the open source information, I can mention that, for example, IBM uses AI to predict supply chain disruptions by improving supply and risk assessment. Amazon uses ML for demand forecasting, optimizing inventory management, and Walmart employs ML for supplier performance prediction, reducing stockouts and overstock situations. So this is very important for large supermarkets.
Yeah. Actually, that's actually a very good point, because what I noticed is some of those names are also quite, you know, like anti-fragile companies as opposed to just being resilient. So with that, I hear that, you know, implementing AI and machine learning in supply data management is very promising, very something that all companies should be kind of, you know, moving towards. But are there also like more maybe tangible benefits? Because especially if we are talking on middle level companies, is it like, you know, is it cost saving? Is it going to be like, you know, more expensive to implement? Because usually, you know, when it comes to high-end technologies, a lot of companies are afraid of the costs. So how can AI and machine learning be also beneficial on this sense? Like, are there maybe a way to, you know, optimize the resource allocation, or with other ways of reducing costs while doing so?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. I think the majority tangible benefits is within cost saving. And for example, in these warehouses, we can reduce a lot of manual labor costs and improve accuracy and efficiency in data management. And of course, we have a lot of stock in enhanced risk assessment and mitigation, because it will be more kind of proficient, not just qualitative, but it will be based on a lot of data. Of course, the need of data, of quality data, becomes very, very important. And cost savings from optimized inventory and procurement decision is also important, because we know there are some sometimes can be deficit and sometimes will be overstock of specific items, so that will help.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think on the long run, especially as a consequential result, it can also, by reducing errors or contributing to making more informed decisions as well, it can also provide a competitive advantage. It's not entirely tangible, but I think this kind of advantage is also on the long run can be considered tangible. And with that being said, that was all for my questions today. Do you have anything else to add, Boris?
No, I think I would suggest, as usual, our audience to keep watching our website at globalriskcommunity.com, and also listening to our podcast, Risk Management Show, and maybe check our courses at globalriskacademy.com, and in the future we will come up with new courses. So it will be interesting to if our audience keep trace on this developments.
Then thank you so much, Boris, for sharing your insights, your thoughts on this topic, and thanks our audience for listening to this episode. We are hoping that they will tune in on the next sessions as well.
Absolutely. Thank you, AJ, again. Bye-bye.